Hello and welcome. I am DEJI360. The face-off between the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and Yahaya Bello, that's the former governor of Kogi State, now seems to be subsiding as the anti-graft agency has now filed a notice of withdrawal to discontinue an appeal against an order of a Kogi State High Court restraining it from arresting the immediate past governor. Now, in the notice filed on April 22nd, the EFCC said the withdrawal is predicated on the fact that events have overtaken the appeal. The commission also admits that the appeal was filed out of the time now allowed by law. Earlier in the week, the Anti-Graft Commission had declared Bello wanted after his successor, Governor Usman Ododo, allegedly whisked him away on April 17, 2024, preventing EFCC operatives from arresting him when they laid siege on his Abuja residence. Addressing journalists over the week now, the EFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyede, revealed some of the infractions now allegedly committed by the former governor, for which the EFCC wants him to answer for. Olukoyede also cleared controversies over whether Bello was officially invited by the EFCC. Take a listen now to the EFCC chairman.
The particulars of offense is there. It's before court. Go and check it. Apply for our processes, please. You will get some of these particulars of offense there. Move money directly from government to bring the change. Use it to pay the child's school fee in advance. In advance. Dollars. How much? 70 what? In dollars, yes. In dollars. I think $72,000 or thereabout. $720,000, sorry. $720,000 in advance. In anticipation that he was going to leave government house. In a poor state like Kogi. And you want me to close my eyes to that? Under the guise of saying I'm being used. Used by who? At this stage of my life? Used by who? By who? For crying out loud. I assumed office here. I didn't initiate the case. I inherited the case file. I called for the case file, I called for the report, and I said, look, there are issues here. Do you know on my honor, I put a call across to him, which ordinarily I'm not supposed to do, just to honor him as a governor, as a immediate past governor. Sir, there are issues. I've seen this case file. Can you just come? Let us clarify these issues. I'm under camera. He said, sir, I thank you, my brother. I know, but I can't come. There's one lady, I don't know what her name is, maybe a senator, that she learned she had set, she has surrounded the EFCC with over 100 journalists, to come and embarrass him and intimidate him and all kind of stuff. I said, okay, if that is your fear, I'm going to pass you through my own gate, special man's gate. You will come to my floor. We will accord you that respect. I will invite my operatives. They will come and interrogate you or interview you in my own office. What could be more honorable than that? In my own office. To allay the fear. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You know what he said? But can't they come to my village?
Well, meanwhile, the American International School of Abuja has asked the EFCC to provide authentic banking details for the refund of that fees paid for the children of Yahaya Bello. Now, remember, the EFCC chairman had alleged that the former governor actually took money from the state coffers now to pay for the children's school fee in advance. Now, the EFCC is prosecuting Bello on 19 counts bordering on alleged money laundering, a breach of trust, and, of course, misappropriation of funds to the tune of 80.2 billion naira. The matter is before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja. And at the last court hearing, the judge ordered that the process be served to Bello's lawyers for onward transmission to him. So we would expect to see the former governor in court at the next hearing date on the matter. But as you know, this matter involving the former governor of Kogi State has actually been generating so much drama across the country. We have seen some civil society groups carry out demonstrations in support of the former governor, accusing the EFCC of hounding him and not following due process in the matter. Joining me now on the show is one of the leaders of such civil society groups, Debo Adeniro, who is the executive director, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, CACOL. Also joining us is Nelson Ekojimi, who is a public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the program. I'll start with you, Mr. Adeniro. We've seen your group carry out a series of protests in the past weeks, condemning and attacking the EFCC, criticizing it over its action on the former governor of the state. So what exactly, let's put this straight now, what exactly is your position on this? And what is your interest?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You will recall that when the immediate past chairman of the EFCC was in the office, we discovered that there are a couple of court judgments that he ignored. He didn't obey them. And a couple of times, contempt of the court was leveled against him, and he was actually committed to prison. Although he was not sent to prison by the Inspector General of Police for whatever reasons, he managed to leave office without serving his terms behind the walls. All the same, he left the office with all of the allegations not yet discharged because he disobeyed court orders. And that is why we protested then that we needed him to go, and somebody else who will recognize the sanctity of such judgment will be appointed. And when Ola Olukoyede was appointed, we rejoiced because of his track record. We know that he came to office without any corruption blemish, despite the attempt by certain people to kind of smear his name when he was secretary to the EFCC and when he was chief of staff to the former EFCC chairman. He came out unscathed, and we were happy that he is somebody like that, young, vibrant, brainy, that was that was appointed to that position. We celebrated him. Now, we wouldn't say because we like Ola Olukoyede that he will repeat the same error that his predecessor committed, and we will keep quiet. That will not be acceptable to Nigerians. So we said that, okay, we discovered that the former governor of Kogi State has preempted the EFCC based on what's happened, a flurry of activities of some of his political opponents before he left the office, and that a couple of petitions were said to have been written against him. And you know that there are a lot of media issues between himself and some of his political opponents. And that was what could have led him to go to a Kogi High Court to get an injunction against the EFCC. Not that it should not be tried.
This is just your own thinking. It might not just be
that is the information we got from the other side, because we did a few investigation, a few inquiry into the matter. So he went to Kogi High Court for whatever reason. Now, he got an injunction against the EFCC, then the judgment later. Now, the judgment didn't say that EFCC could not arraign him or could not charge him to court. The only thing he got as an injunction is that he should not be arrested. Somebody can be charged to court without being arrested. That he should not be harassed, he should not be intimidated, and so on and so forth. And that was the judgment of a court. And our belief is that even if a judgment, a ruling, or an injunction is granted by a drunken judge, it had to be obeyed. And we are not anything against Yahaya Bello. As a matter of fact, we advocated then that EFCC should wait for Yahaya Bello at the gate of the government house. As soon as he lost or relinquished the immunity that the law conferred on him, they should promptly charge him to court and let him have his day in court. We want all governors, all public officials to be accountable to the people.
Yes. Now, because of time, then the question is, if that is your position, so what is wrong in what the EFCC has done. I mean, you had the EFCC chairman asking the governor, the former governor now, to come, inviting him to come, not even placing him under arrest, but inviting him to come. So what exactly is wrong with that? And this governor, the former governor, refused to do so.
First and foremost, invitation to a suspected, person like that is not supposed to be made on phone. There should be a written invitation to the person to come.
But the question is that really your call? Is that really your call? Is that a call you should be making as a group?
No, I'm saying that the EFCC chairman said he placed a call to Yahaya Bello.
I'm saying, but does it lie to you to determine how the invitation should be extended? I mean, does it lie to you?
Because that means that there's no evidence that has been presented that he was actually invited. We have not seen such an evidence.
Okay, let me just pause you. Let me pause you there. Just hold on. Let me pause you there and bring in Nelson now. Nelson, what do you make of all of this?
Well, thank you very much. I think all this drama is needless because one would have expected ex-governor Yahaya Bello, as somebody who was a custodian of people's trusts, to respect the sensibilities of the people when he's being called to come and answer questions. As we speak, the EFCC cannot convict Yahaya Bello. And the allusion that a court of law has stopped the EFCC from arresting Yahaya Bello until I see that judgment or that court order, because I know for free.
The court specifically did not stop.
Because I know for free that the role of the court is to interpret the law. And if EFCC is a creation of the law, I'm sure in interpreting the law, the court will interpret the law in line with the provisions of the Constitution. And what is the role of the EFCC? To invite, to arrest, and to prosecute. EFCC cannot convict. So for me, Governor Yahaya Bello in this matter has not behaved like an executive, because he was a former executive, chief executive officer of the state. He has behaved more like somebody out there at the bus stop. And it is an assault on the collective sensibilities of the people of Kogi State that a former governor who is being asked to come and answer questions with regards to his account of stewardship is saying he cannot come. Then why was he in public office? Because when you go into public office, at any point in time, you must be ready to answer to the people. And the EFCC is not a creation of Mr. Olukorede. The EFCC is the creation of the Nigerian Constitution. The EFCC will represent the Nigerian people's interests. So why would anybody wake up and say, oh, the EFCC has not extended? Because we know for free that the EFCC has various means of communicating with people they are inviting. For example, the former Minister for Aviation, we just saw that the man appeared at the EFCC office. He said in response to the summons, he didn't show anybody that summons or that invitation letter anyway. So we are not concerned with how EFCC invites people that it suspects must have abused public office, because the role of the EFCC is to investigate people who have held office in trust for the people. So Governor Yahaya Bello running away from the law, we wait to see how far he can run, but he can be rest assured that the arm of the law is very, very long.
Let me come to you, Debo. You look at, you've just said that there's no evidence that the EFCC actually extended an invitation to him. And the EFCC chairman is on record. I mean, you saw that video where he said he even put a call to him. Now, but you are saying there's no written evidence, if you like. Is there a specific law that requires that the EFCC must put it in writing, for instance, inviting any suspect at all to come and, explain certain things? Because you listen to the version, you listen to what the chairman of the EFCC said, you just begin to wonder what is wrong with that for a law enforcement agent to ask someone to come and explain certain things that it doesn't understand, and then the person simply refuses to show up. And you expect the EFCC to fold its arms and do nothing. And in any case, You talk about what happened when the EFCC actually stormed his home in Abuja, when they laid siege at his home in Abuja. They were trying to enforce, I'm asking you this, they said they were trying to enforce a court order. They had a warrant for his arrest. So what is wrong with that?
Now listen.
Okay.
The initial injunction against EFCC was still pending. Okay, where EFCC had been restrained from arresting him. The judgment doesn't say he could not be charged to court. Now, putting a call through to him is not official. It's like a friendly call. I am not a lawyer. I won't be able to tell you specifically if it is compulsory that it should be written. But as soon as there is a court judgment that prevents EFCC from arresting him, maybe including all of the ones that you have been saying, putting a call through to him and all of that, lawyers will interpret that. But what we know is that an injunction had been obtained from a high court. Now, the EFCC has appealed that ruling in the federal, in the Court of Appeal. Okay? And the appeal that EFCC filed against the ruling or judgment of the Kogi High Court was still pending. Was supposed to come up on Monday, 22nd of April. But on Thursday, around about 17th of April, EFCC has gone to barricade Yahaya Bello's house in Abuja. On a legal warrant. So no, the warrant was obtained after they filed their appeal.
I understand. I understand you, but what I'm saying
now listen. There is the High Court. They went to obtain that warrant from a federal High Court in Abuja, which has coordinates, jurisdiction with the High Courts in Kogi State. Now, if they went to court of coordinates, jurisdiction, the court didn't vacate the existing judgment from the from the High Court of Kogi State. If that judgment is not vacated from the same court or a superior court, then this another court of the same or similar jurisdiction cannot vacate the existing judgment with a warrant of arrest. That is not the right path for EFCC to do. And that is why we said that, look, if you want to come to equity, you must come with clean hands. The EFCC is supposed to go to, to attend to the case he filed at the Court of Appeal.
Can I ask you?
The Court of Appeal to vacate that.
I understand your point.
Yes.
I understand your point. But let me ask you.
Thank you.
Don't you find it very curious that a state court, where the governor, of course, I'm not imputing anything now, but where the former governor, of course, would naturally exert some influence. Don't you find it curious that a court in that manner would issue an order that the EFCC should not arrest, not do anything, not even touch the former governor in respect to an investigation over an alleged crime that was committed? As a leader of a group that preaches open leadership, anti-corruption and open leadership now, don't you find that curious? And what is wrong if, for instance, an anti-graft agency says, please come and explain? Wouldn't you encourage leaders to just comply? What's wrong with that?
I started from that we encourage EFCC to keep on investigating all of those government officials that are enjoying immunity So as soon as they relinquish that immunity, they should just promptly do their own work. But in this case, there is a judgment
now,
that prevents them from doing that.
Don't you find it? Don't you find the judgment curious? You don't have a problem with it?
Look, it doesn't. Let me tell you. As long as the judgment comes from a court of competent jurisdiction, and it has not been vacated by the same court or a higher court, is still valid, even if Yahaya Bello is the one sitting on the bench. Okay? So it doesn't matter where the judgment comes. We want a situation whereby judiciary in Nigeria will be respected by all institutions, no matter how powerful. We want Yahaya Bello to be tried. Actually, it's our desire to have a Yahaya Bello tried for all the allegations that have been leveled against him. But if he had to be done, he had to be tried. He had to be tried judicially. He had to be tried judiciously. He had to be tried democratically. That is, following the provisions of the Constitution.
All right.
If the EFCC says that they didn't recognize the judgment from Kogi High Court, they shouldn't have filed an appeal. They will have just simply ignored it and go ahead, knowing that maybe Kogi High Court will have no powers to to charge them with contempt of the court. So basically what we want is that the EFCC, as powerful as it is, must be subject to rule of law. Just like everybody should be equal before the law. All institutions
I get you.
that are created by the same law should respect the law, because EFCC is also looking forward to courts to adjudicate in the matters that they are handling.
I get you now.
If they get judgment and somebody just
I get you. I'm going to come back to you. Let me bring in Nelson here. Nelson, here you have an anti-graft agency that invited the governor, the former governor now, to say, please come explain certain things. It's not as if you're under arrest, but just come and explain. The governor refused to do so. I mean, the former governor now refused to do so. You had the EFCC chairman explain the circumstance under which that actually happened. And then give me your take also on, you know, that court judgment that prevented the EFCC. Even though the EFCC, by the way, yes, Debo is right, the EFCC appealed, but the EFCC has withdrawn that appeal now, you know.
And DG,
yeah.
I think let us start from the last question. From the intervention of the EFCC chairman, we know that any court judgment is time-bound. You have a specific number of days in which to appeal. I think when ex-governor Yahaya Bello refused to honor the EFCC invitation, EFCC, being a law-abiding institution, went to a federal high court in Abuja to obtain a warrant of arrest, which was a judgment. That warrant is a judgment because it's an order given by a court of competent jurisdiction. So in getting to Yahaya Bello's house, and when they couldn't get through in arresting him, they now got wind of that Kogi State High Court judgment, thinking that the way it has been reported in the media is what was contained in that judgment. Maybe before they got the certified true copy, they quickly rushed to the Court of Appeal to vacate that judgment, only for them to read through the judgment and realize that the judge never stopped them from performing their constitutional functions. And that is the reason why they have discontinued the appeal that they filed against, because that judgment, I listened to the EFCC chairman, the judgment even authorized the EFCC to go ahead with its constitutional functions in arraigning Mr. Yahaya Bello.
We're going to take a listen to the EFCC
chairman. It is not for any one of us to say, oh, because a court has given a judgment in Kogi, then a court of equal, same jurisdiction in Abuja, will now say EFCC should obey a judgment that was not even, the content of the judgment was not even what was peddled. It was the content of the judgment even gave EFCC the powers. Don't forget, the Supreme Court has ruled repeatedly that no court of law has the powers to stop any institution of state from performing its constitutional functions. The role of the judiciary is to interpret the Constitution. So if EFCC under the Nigerian Constitution is empowered to invite, arrest, prosecute, but they can't convict. So I wonder which court will now say EFCC should not arrest. Meanwhile, the role of the court is to interpret the Constitution, and the Constitution gives EFCC the powers to arrest. So in this case, the judgment that was purported to have been gotten in Lokoja was a judgment...
And in relation to his fundamental human rights.
Yes, you know, but the judgment didn't stop his arrest. The judgment even authorized the EFCC to go ahead with its constitutional function, which is part of the arrest that they wanted to effect, but it was thwarted in Abuja. So for me, the EFCC has shown itself as an institution that is law-abiding. The EFCC has not disobeyed any court order or judgment in this case. Rather, it is Governor Yahaya Bello that is running away from the law. The EFCC is right on course in performing its functions. And like I stated earlier on, the EFCC is the creation of the law, and if the role of the judiciary is to interpret the law, the judiciary with regards to the judgment in Kogi, as well as the judgment or order in Abuja, are on the same page.
All right.
That is why EFCC has discontinued the appeal.
Debo, now the court, that's the Federal High Court Abuja, has ordered that the process be served on the lawyers to the former Kogi State Governor, and that has been done. Should we expect to see him at the next adjourned date of the court sitting?
DG, I'm not...
I'm just getting...
What I'm saying is that it depends on the interpretation of the judgment. Just like Nelson was saying that the judgment from Kogi High Court didn't stop EFCC from arresting him. I don't believe that. What I know is that he should not be arrested, he should not be intimidated, he could be brought to court. Now that if that judgment from Kogi High Court has been vacated by the new judgment from Abuja, that is a different one altogether. My argument was that EFCC ought to wait for the appeal they filed in Court of Appeal against the judgment of Kogi, okay, before they bombarded his house. Now, then, when they obtain a warrant of arrest, during the pendency of an initial judgment that is yet to be obeyed from a court of coordinate jurisdiction, I don't know if it is right for somebody who already has an injunction to just submit himself to that kind of Jankara arrangement. I don't believe that is correct. But then...
okay, go on.
So then, I just know that they have discontinued their own appeal. I don't know which of the appeal, because I am not privy to what they are doing. But then, if it's the same appeal they filed against the local judge judgment that they have withdrawn, it has only increased the lifespan of the injunction that he got from Kogi State High Court.
And this is your own. This is your own interpretation.
No. That's my own interpretation. Anyway, now, if that judgment is not vacated, I think there is a judgment now. If that judgment is not vacated, I'm not sure that the EFCC is competent to arrest him. It could be, of course, now that the service has been done on his lawyer, the lawyer will advise him appropriately.
But can I ask you this question?
Let me finish this. Let me finish this. I actually want Yahaya Bello to defend himself in court. All of the allegations that have been put in the media, let him go to court and defend himself. If he cannot defend himself, then he is not fit to be a leader in Nigeria. And this is somebody who wants to become our president. He has to defend all the allegations against him. That is the opportunity he has. He is being provided by being invited to the court. But then, if you have to kill somebody, you have to do it judicially. And that is why if somebody deserves death penalty, it has to be done judicially, not extrajudicial arrangement. That is my argument.
In the face of all of this, yes, as an anti-corruption crusader, in the face of all of this, if you were asked to advise the former governor of Kogi State, what exactly would you tell him in the face of all of this?
You heard my last statement. I want him to appear, but not against the ruling of the earlier High Court. If the injunction is still pending, I mean, during the pendency of that injunction, he should not be arrested.
All right,
but if he's invited to court, then he should defend all the allegations. I want to have all the details of how he came about 80-point-something billion naira as an individual. Why he had to pay in advance for his children and all of that. I also am interested in it. But not that they will not take the back door to harass him to submission. That is not good.
Nelson, I'll give you the final.
It could be somebody else's. It could be my own turn tomorrow.
I need to correct an impression being created by Comrade Debo that the Kogi High Court barred the EFCC from arresting. That is not correct. The Kogi High Court even affirmed that the EFCC should go ahead and arrest and investigate him. So what Yahaya Bello, why the EFCC rushed to lodge an appeal against that judgment was because the judgment, judicial judgments have a lifespan. If you don't appeal within a certain number of days, that judgment stands. You cannot appeal again. And when the EFCC recognized that, oh, we thought the judgment was against us, when they got, I want to assume, when they got the CTC of that judgment and they read through, they now recognize that the judgment even affirmed that they should go ahead with their constitutional responsibility. That is why they withdrew that appeal, that appeal was not necessary because the judgment was not stopping them from doing their work. So for me, we wait to see. Now the courts has ordered the EFCC to serve Yahaya Bello through his lawyers. And that means Yahaya Bello, at the next hearing of the case, is expected in court. Nigerians are waiting to see if Yahaya Bello will be responsible and honorable enough to appear as somebody who once held trust on behalf of the collective will of the people.
Well, I think we'll just have to end it there. Gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for coming on the program. Debo Adeniro, Executive Director, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership. Thanks a lot for coming on the program. And Nelson Ekojimi, Public Affairs Analyst, thanks for your time. We'll take a short break now, but when we come back, we'll get a legal angle to all of this. Stay with us, don't go away.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.